from the Iranians. They are still able to hit some cities in Saudi Arabia to send different messages, as I said, strongly to the supporters who gathered today in Sana'a to show them that they are still strong and they can, after 3 years, they still can attack Saudi Arabia.
Ms. Van Meegen, as you know, an aid worker, how do you see the latest escalation in the violence? What will it mean for the millions of Yemenis who are already suffering through what the UN has called the world's worst humanitarian crisis?
Well, it's very clear to us that the parties to this conflict are not only using violence, they're using war tactics that undermine the capacity of Yemenis to afford food, to go to school, to keep their jobs, and to access clean water. The cholera outbreak we've seen that has now reached more than 1 million cases isn't a coincidence. The blockade on Hodeidah port and subsequent difficulties moving supplies around Yemen aren't a coincidence. None of this is organic. All of it is a man-made crisis. So we would see that the violence we've seen is having a huge impact on people, but so too are the more insidious war tactics being used by all parties to the conflict.
And the crisis, it seems, could get worse. We've had the Houthi leader Abdul Malik al-Houthi vow to use more developed weapons, missile systems, he said, will overcome all defense systems to target Saudi Arabia. Mr. Barron, who is arming the Houthis? Where are they getting their weapons from?
I mean, a large portion of the Houthis' weapons are coming from inside Yemen itself. Let's not forget that one of the most notorious arms markets, if not the most notorious arms market, is right in Saba. The Houthis have long built ties with many of Yemen's most notable arms dealers. That being said, there are, according to UN expert testimony, there are components of weapons that appear to be coming from Iran that are being used in these missiles that are apparently able to strike Riyadh. You hear different things. Some say that these are actually, full-on Iranian missiles. What a lot of people are hearing and a lot of experts are saying is that you're seeing, components being attached to missiles that increase their range. And then in addition to that, there are some reports, there was just a report released today, alleging that both there's been Iranian radio technology used. So it would appear that, for the most part, the weapons are by and large weapons that have already been in Yemen, although there are pretty credible reports that the Houthis are getting weapons from elsewhere as well.
And how do they, if the weapons are coming from overseas, how do they get them into the country despite the different blockades? Are they bringing parts in and then assembling them in Yemen?
Yeah, it would appear that that's how it's happening. And you're having, there's a number of different theories going around. I believe it was one of the UN panel of experts reports said that they were basically taking advantage.
Yemen that are already there and also being brought in from overseas. What about support for the Houthis? Mr. Jume, Abdul Malik al-Houthi has said that they're going to recruit more men and children to keep fighting. Who's joining them? Who supports them?
They use every kind of means to be supported. They use religion to encourage people to join them, as their name is Ansarullah, means the supporters of Allah. So they are doing all these things for the sake of God. They are encouraging people to join them, to be mujahideen, to go to paradise, as in their propaganda, religious propaganda. And they use even the tribal system, because in the northern parts of Yemen, the tribal system is very strong, and they are using and they are trying to implement it for their own favor. They also are using the resources. They still have the capital, they still have the main city, the main port in Yemen in their control. They are opening the country for a big black market. So according to a report of the United Nations experts, they say that they have billions of dollars a year from different resources, from different ways of income. They are using their this resource for their own favor, to support their own military actions against the Yemen and against the neighboring areas. Don't forget that they don't give salaries. They don't give salaries, so all money they have is used for only military action.
Yeah, so no lack of support or resources then. Ms. Van Meegen, there is a new UN envoy for Yemen now with talk of a new round of negotiations. Are you hopeful that this could lead to an improvement in people's lives?